Jungkook called Won for the third time now, only to transfer him to voicemail. She has never done that before, except for the times she is in her classroom. She never missed his call. He understood time and space, but it was surely concerning to him since that never happened before. Above that, he couldn't ignore the fact she was a girlfriend of a mafia who was surrounded by enemies waiting for one mistake to attack on him. He got down the car when he reached his mansion and went inside. The sound of his soles clicking against the marble echoed the whole mansion that spread across the premises. The place was filled with people, maids, and guards, but no soul dared making an unnecessary sound. It was the dread he spread wherever he went, the aura he held which screamed danger and destruction. His eyes as dark as an indefinite black hole while he advanced towards his room. He had just returned from a 3-day overseas tour where he had to take care of some business. Returning to his country, he called Wine first thing, which he failed to connect with her. This time, this one time, he decided to let go, since she sometimes complained about worrying too much or giving her the space. She really admires and loves how Jungkook is always protective of her and give her all the love. But sometimes she gets tired of having all that security and being unable to breathe an air of independence. He decided to wait for her as he took a shower and grabbed his laptop to check on work back in his country, which he was away from the past 3 days. She returned home exactly at her time, as usual, and he was at relief. Once she entered her room, she found Jungkook sitting on the couch, looking through a file. Knowing her so well for a whole year now, he expected a reaction completely different than what he received. Her eyes teared up as they landed on Jungkook, and she dragged her feet, taking a seat beside him. Jungkook, love, are you alright? He asked calmly, the darkness in his eyes long gone, replacing by warmth, his heart held only for her. She quietly stared up at him, telling her heart the one sitting in front of her was actually her boyfriend, and not some hallucinations. That he was really back, and her body felt the warmth radiating from him, even from the distance. He caressed her cheek, and the slight touch provided her with so much relief she started crying. Jungkook frowned, now getting restless. She held his hand, and her cries got loud every passing second. She threw her head down, resting it on his thighs while holding his hand tightly. And in that moment, he wanted to go and find every single soul she faced today and burn them alive, for they might be the reason behind her tears. The one he kept with so much love and protection. The one he made sure wouldn't even have a trouble walking or eating. He kept her like a princess, only for someone to make her cry this miserably. Jungkook leant down, placing a few kisses on her head, making sure she knew he was there for her, his hand brushing through her hair. Jungkook, give me the names, wine, and I'll personally bring hell to their doorsteps. He didn't need an explanation to do that. It could be as little as stealing her pencil, and he would still do that. She was the only one in the entirety who could spread warmth to his heart and keep him functioning like a living being. Wine, don't leave me again. Don't go anywhere. Just stay beside me. Jungkook, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm here with you. He pulled her up in his lap and wrapped his arms around her body. Wine, there is a boy in my class, and I was put in a group with him. Now we were working all fine. It was like any other group project going all good and fine. She took her time, trying to stop her breath from hitching every once in a while, and her voice to stop shaking. Jungkook was an impatient man, but guess, not in her case. Wine. His girlfriend is the daughter of a choibol. She thinks she owns this school or something, always high in the head. I never minded her, but then she suddenly cornered me in a room and called me a whore and said I was seducing her boyfriend. Wine. She pulled her whole gang and they just. That was where she finally stopped, eyes closing out of humiliation, and her body started to shake again. Jungkook, just what, Wine? If listening to all that was not enough, the fire in his eyes matched the one burning in the heather at the corner of the room. He knew there was more to it, but he wasn't sure if he would be able to control himself. She hesitated, stuttered, took a few minutes shifting around. Her tears fell again and again as she kept wiping them. Jungkook held her cheeks and turned her towards him, feeling his patience running low. Jungkook, I got you. I'll protect you, Wyan. They what? Wyan. She forced me to lick clean her shoes and bow down 100 times apologizing and kiss her feet each time. She brought people to make sure I couldn't escape. Wyan. They made videos and laughed while calling me a slut and all those names. He didn't move or throw a fit, but she knew him better. There was this crazy madness reflecting his eyes, the red veins getting more and more visible, and it wouldn't be a lie to say even she got scared at that sight. When Jungkook punished, he did that in a way unimaginable. Jungkook, I need 7 minutes. Only 7. He kissed her head and placed her on the couch, getting out of the room. Exactly 7 minutes later, the door to the room opened up again, and he came back in, extending her hand. Jungkook, come here. She took his hand and he brought her to the lounge, helping her sit on the couch. Her eyes widened up as she found that girl and her whole group standing at a distance, in a messed up form. They were crying and visibly shaking with fear. The girl was pushed forward in Vine's feet, who flinched. Clark, Vine, I'm sorry. It was a joke. You know we were not serious. I didn't mean to hurt you. Please forgive me. She joined her hands, begging for forgiveness. Vine didn't know if she wanted any of this, but just her words made her so angry. Joke? Didn't mean to hurt her? Was it a joke to them? Jungkook, lick her shoes. Clark widened her eyes as she shook her head desperately and started crying and begging for forgiveness again. Jungkook, shut up and do as I said. He raised his voice. It bombarded the whole place like a bomb. Suddenly, everyone stopped crying and froze in their spots. The dread spread everywhere, and not even the sound of breathing was heard anymore. Clark slowly moved down and started to lick Boyan's shoes. Jungkook extended a cell phone towards Boyan. Jungkook, record it. She stared at it for a moment, but took it. Did she really want to do it? Even if she was treated that way, she never thought she would want a revenge like that. She honestly thought it was going to give her a trauma, which would be hard to get out of. But suddenly, everything felt so light, even if she knew it was not the right way. She recorded because even if she didn't want it, she knew it was the best way. It was not about her only, it was about Jungkook, who would kill them otherwise. Jungkook, look at the camera. Clark, show your face. How does it feel like being in a position you forced her in? Does it look like a joke to you now? He only received the sound of silent cries and sniffles from the girl, who hesitantly looked up at the camera, with her tear-filled face and her mascara turning her eyes black. Jungkook, step back. Next, you. One shook her head and pulled her feet away. It's okay. That's it. That's enough. Jungkook, no, it's not. Why? I don't feel good like this, baby. Please, I think I'm good with all of this. It won't hurt me anymore. Trust me. Too bad. He was done only when he was done. Jungkook, alright, go to your room. I'll be right after you. She got up and he kissed her temple before she skipped to her room. Jungkook extended his hand towards one of his guards. Give me your shoe. The guard instantly took off one of his shoes and Jungkook grabbed it, throwing it at a boy standing in a group of students he brought. The boy caught the shoe right before it hit his face. Jungkook then threw the phone towards the same guard. Jungkook, lick it, and you record it. I want all of them there. A whole footage of 5 minutes for each one of them. I'm going to upload it on your school website. So next time you know your limits. Jungkook, and won't be able to show your face to anyone without a plastic surgery. Shouldn't be hard for you, huh? After all, you are proud of having wealthy parents to think you can get away with bullying innocent people. He left to his room, leaving all of them shaking in fear and humiliation. The exact thing Juan felt, but no one gave one damn thing about her. When he entered the room, she hugged him. He picked her up so her legs wrapped around his torso and walked to bed, taking a seat, keeping her in his arms or his lap. Jungkook, you don't have to think about any of that or feel even an ounce of embarrassment. She didn't think if there was any space left to feel that, now that all of them went through the same thing. Wine, let's not use their videos. Let them go. It's okay. Jungkook had made sure to put all of their phones to factory reset, without a care if they lost any data. He needed to make sure he got rid of Vine's every video they had. Jungkook, give me one good reason to do that. Vine, because I said so. She flashed her gummy smile, confident it will work, and he was not going to let her down in any way. He exhaled and threw his head back for a moment. Jungkook, great. There you go, Jungkook, going down the hill. She laughed and pecked his lips. The scowl on his face remained, but it was his insides at relief seeing her laugh. She pecked him again and again, till he dropped that fixed scowl and finally blessed her with his handsome smile. Vine, do you know how much I missed you in these 3 days? Don't you dare leave me again. Jungkook, that's one scary threat, I must admit. She winked and he laughed, pulling her in for a kiss. If there was one thing Jungkook didn't have, it was morals. It was his profession and the position he had today which made him lose that. He didn't come to this point acting like a gentleman and kind acts. He, however, deeply cared for Vine. He dismissed the idea of uploading the videos but surely sent them to their parents. Vine wouldn't know, and his anger would somehow calm down too. Maybe, not all of it. She pulled back and brushed her fingers through his hair. Vine, baby star candy. He always found it weird whenever she called him with that name. Nothing about it suited on him, but he took it happily. Jungkook, you are. He pecked her lips and laid down, keeping her in his warm embrace, while she snuggled in, feeling safe as ever.